Welcome into Fantasy Now Plus weekly recap edition. This is your March 7th, 2025 episode on this wonderful Friday afternoon. Yes, this is the new setup over here. We are going to break down everything that we've missed. I know we haven't been on in a while, but it's just me and Justin Bauer Lee, of course, breaking down the news. So let's get on in here, Justin. Let's talk about the new setup. Let's talk about the new stream. Let's talk about the new year of the NFL because we have a lot of news, a lot of stuff
We
to
do
break
have,
down. That
I mean, we not as much news as you would think, but we do have a lot of news. Because we haven't talked about football since before the Super Bowl. The last time we talked about football in general or seeing each other face to face, I temporarily moved to Chicago for like an entire month. So it's been crazy. But yeah, how was your break? How was your 1 month off of football?
it was amazing. Today's the official first day back to work for the football season. It has been a great relief. Honestly, like I've been missing it. Been getting some trade offers here and there in the past couple weeks. I'm like, okay, it's time. We have the NFL Combine that just wrapped up. We have the draft coming up very, very soon. And guys, I'm excited to plug right now. I'll just plug it right now. If you haven't been to the new improved FantasyNowPlus.com, you're missing out. We have articles now. We have rankings. It looks sleek. It's super nice. It's got our Discord link. So please join our Discord. We have a lot of conversation. We want to talk with you guys this year. We want to get you guys involved all off season with our mock drafts. We might have some game shows. We might have some games we might play. We might have press conferences. I don't know what we're going to do, but we want you to be a part of it. So join our Discord. It's on the fantasynowplus.com, and I'm sure it's linked in the description below. How was your time off?
It was like I said, I temporarily moved to Chicago for a month to help mother-in-law after a surgery. And so we had to make food and take care of her for a bit. But we're back better than ever. And we kicked this whole thing off during that time span. So we've added some shows. Yeah, like you said, this is going to be all new. We've got a whole nother live team like ready to go. We're working out on what they're gonna put out content wise. We have a Dynasty podcast. You can follow that at Fantasy Now Plus Dynasty Football on Apple and Spotify. I think the links are also in the description of this episode, and you can find the episodes on YouTube as well. But Will's doing a great job over there. We've got some writers writing content on the website, everything. So we've got a whole team now. It's not just Josh and Justin anymore. And yeah, you can definitely check out the Discord. We want you in there. We're always talking to the team. We're always talking about football in there. Movies and TV sometimes too, random stuff here and there. But you can find that link, I think, that way or the corner of the screen way underneath Josh. You can go to chat.fantasynowplus.com to get to the Discord right away.
Yes, and I just want to let everyone know if you join and you message me after 7:30 p.m., I'll get back to you in
Josh will
24
not
business
respond.
hours. 24 hours. I'll respond in 24 hours. Uh,
It's like, hey, I submit a claim. Sir, we have 24 to 48 hours to respond to you. That's Josh's take.
yeah, pretty much. But I'll be there. If you want to speak with me, this is your one-way ticket because I don't go on social media much anymore. So if you want to get a hold of Josh Kimmel, Discord is where it's at. If you don't, I understand. I understand. I don't want to talk
Yeah.
to me either.
And we will be going live on Fridays, normally at noon. Today we're doing 11 because we missed you. We wanted to get in here. But
Yes.
Fridays at noon is going to be our weekly show until the start of the season. So join us at lunch.
Yes.
Catch us at lunch. If you're on the West Coast, join us during the first shift of your hour or whatever. Sorry,
Brunch.
Sean. I don't even know if is Sean awake yet?
Sean's mad at me.
Sean
is mad at me. And it's not for reasons that are real life reasons, but Juwan Jennings is 27 years old. And if you're trading for Juwan Jennings, we have plenty of offseason to talk about why you should not trade for Juwan Jennings. But let's get into the weekly recap. Let's get into the content. Let's get into some team moves. The first thing on the docket is DK Metcalf has a draft deadline for a trade request, apparently, right? Is that happening?
Yeah.
Seahawks are
Yeah.
seeking a
So
first and a third.
yeah, the Seahawks want quite a bit. First and a third for DK Metcalf. That's fair. He's a really good player. I don't know that I'm trading the first and a third for DK Metcalf right now. I mean, I don't know. That seems like a lot, but yeah, they do want to make this trade before the draft because they want that pick. They want the picks in this year's draft, not next year's and the following. So that's big news. Tyler Lockett also released by the Seahawks after all of that time there in Seattle. So your boy Jackson Smith Najigba, wide receiver one for the Seattle Seahawks, right there,
Now listen, we
automatically.
have a dynasty. We have dynasty content on this. Yeah, very happy. I'm not going to victory lap. It is what it is. We all knew he'd be awesome. But I will say that we have a dynasty creator now, so I'm not going to step on that show's toes. But I will say I was telling you guys, JSN was the biggest buy low last year because everyone was like, "Man, he's not going to get a shot. He's not going to get this opportunity." Well, he did, and now he has the ultimate opportunity. This DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett news isn't about DK Metcalf or Lockett to me, or where they land. I don't care where they land right now. This is for JSN in his moment. He secured himself as the number one receiver there in Seattle. Couldn't be more happier. Guys, more wide receivers are going to get this go. Dunze, Marvin Harrison, those guys that you're quitting on now, not all of you, but trust me, the cream rises.
Let's just remember Jackson Smith and Jigba did not do that great his rookie season. And by not that great, I mean he was wide receiver 48, so not a starting wide receiver in the NFL, maybe a fringe flex player. But then he followed it up with the wide receiver 9 season. So, you mentioned Roma Dunze. That's actually a pretty solid, I would say, comparison here. Did not have a great rookie season. Shadowed behind DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Cole Kmet. Keenan Allen's a free agent this year. The Bears might not bring him back. I would be surprised if they don't bring him back, but they might not. They might go to a more a younger wide receiver core, which is going to open up Roma Dunze. So I'm you need to remember these things. Jackson Smith and Jigba, everybody gave up after rookie season. Those that kept him are very happy right now. So
Right. Those who kept them are very, very, very happy. And the same thing with Odunze is, and like you just said. So we got all the offseason talk about where DK is going to go and where we want him to go. But let's talk about someone who doesn't have a home right now. The Jaguars released tight end Evan Ingram. And I'm confused by your notes, but let's just start with that one. Jaguars released Evan Ingram. Big news, in our opinion. We're big Evan Ingram fans on this show. But when you texted me this yesterday or 2 days ago, I said, I'm not surprised. I'm really not. He was bad
I'm
last
not.
year.
He's 30 years old. He only played in 9 games last season. It's interesting. This obviously increases Brian Thomas Jr.'s value on that team more because now you're getting not all of his targets, but you're getting quite a bit of targets. But we're not even. I mean, we're 2 seasons off 143 targets, and a tight end 2 finish. His 2 seasons that he finished 100% of the 17 games each with the Jaguars, he finished as a tight end 5 and the tight end 2. Last year obviously was not as great because of his injuries early and at the end of the season. So that's not great. Now talking about Brian Thomas Jr., in his value, his target share going up, they've also released Josh Reynolds and traded Christian Kirk to the Texans. So there's 3 receiving options that are just now gone from the Jaguars. They literally have Brian Thomas Jr.
They have Brian Thomas Jr. and whoever they're going to add. Brenton Strange is the name that's going to come up a lot this offseason because he is the next in line, which I don't hate. He wasn't awful last year. He didn't get as many opportunities as a full-time tight end would get, but he had 53 targets, caught 40 of them, 2 receiving touchdowns, 411 yards. The big thing is his yards per catch, 10.3 yards per catch last season. So if he's the man, next man up, he's someone you want to take a look at, maybe play in dynasty leagues, and people are sleeping on the fact that this guy might be valuable. Throw a third for him, see what he can do. But yes, you're right. There's a lot of targets available in Jacksonville, and I don't know how they're going to fill this up. DK Metcalf?
They're gonna have to hope they hit big in free agency, I guess.
There's a person that I'm predicting, and I've been predicting this for a while, and my area doesn't like me so much because I think Chris Godwin is going to follow his offensive coordinator who made him elite last year. Chris Godwin was elite until he was injured. And that offensive coordinator for Tampa Bay is now the new head coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And they sure did clear up a lot of wide receiver room. I'm just saying, Brian Thomas Jr. and Chris
that
Godwin.
actually, that's a pretty solid pairing right there for them. That also gives Trevor Lawrence another target that's actually good, rather than that bum wide receiver core that they had before Brian Thomas Jr. There's quite a bit of veteran wide receivers out there that they could go after to pair up with BTJ. T. Higgins is on the tag, but could be traded. The Bengals want. We'll talk about him here in a little bit. Chris Godwin, as you mentioned, Stephon Diggs, Keenan Allen, DeAndre Hopkins, De'Ami Brown, Amari Cooper, and a lot of players right there in the middle, not even flex positions. So quite a bit that could go their way.
Interesting developments in Jacksonville for sure.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the Raiders. Gardner Minshew will be released. Not surprised by this at all.
No.
He's just going to be a backup quarterback somewhere else. He's still serviceable. He is this new era's Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yep.
So I look forward to him playing for the Miami Dolphins next year, backing up Tua and having some fun games when Tua misses. I can't wait.
That's a pretty accurate comparison. That people are talking about Josh Dobbs being this new era's Ryan Fitzpatrick. No, it really is Gardner Minshew. The mustache instead of the beard, the cockiness, he can play like 3 games a season and do really well. He always beats the Ravens no matter what team he's on. It's pretty great.
Yep, it sure is. All right, let's move on to some more relevant news. The New York Jets, what a disaster they are. Devontae Adams will be released, or was released by the Jets. Rodgers is not returning, and Alan Lazard is to explore trade options. So where's this trio going to land? Well, that's the question, because Rodgers isn't going anywhere without Lazard. Adams is probably going to follow. And with the news that Stafford is staying with the Rams, I don't think Rodgers has a home. I can't find anywhere.
I cannot feasibly think of anywhere other than to continue the Brett Favre lineage and go to the Minnesota Vikings and be the quarterback for a little bit while JJ McCarthy learns. That's the only thing that is feasible, in my opinion, right now. That pairs up Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams, and Jordan Addison, and TJ Hawkinson.
And Alan Lazard.
They might as well bring back Randall Cobb at this point. Just bring the whole gang back together, put them in Minnesota, make Green Bay. I don't know. But why not? Why not go to Minnesota? Like, imagine Aaron Rodgers with Justin Jefferson. They would win 9 games instead of 8.
Stop. I do not want to see Aaron Rodgers anywhere near Justin Jefferson at this point. Not to say Aaron Rodgers was bad, because he actually played a very good second half of the season. If he wants to go to a winner, there's not many winners that need a quarterback at this point. His options are very limited.
The Vikings?
Stop.
Are they not a contender?
I just want you to stop it. I want JJ McCarthy to play. I don't want Aaron Rodgers to ruin another young person's career or delay it. And I'm a Rodgers fan.
Why do young quarterbacks have to play immediately, though? I mean, Rodgers didn't play for 3 years.
Listen. We're
Jordan
in a
Love didn't
2025
play for 3
era.
years.
Everything is instant. Amazon, on demand, video on, everything's instant these days. We don't have time to wait. Nobody has time to wait. We want to know now. I want to know now if this player can play so we can move on to the next, because we need to move on. We need to know, Justin. We can't sit here and if Jaden Daniels sat behind somebody last year, would you be happy?
I would riot.
Okay.
If he sat behind, who was it, Desmond Ritter, I would riot. Or no, Marcus Mariota, I think maybe. I don't even know.
By your theory, why play him right away? So you get Bo Nick, same thing.
Because he was elite. He proved himself to be elite. JJ McCarthy's not Jaden Daniels.
We'll see. We shall see. I'm more interested to see where Devontae Adams lands. That's my
Yeah.
biggest takeaway there.
He couldn't do
Franchise
it.
tags.
He couldn't do it. Like he's done. He's
Yeah.
DeAndre Hopkins in my opinion right now.
Oh, that's
Once
hurtful.
elite,
Franchise
never will do it
tags.
again.
T. Higgins has received the franchise tag, and this needs to go away, in my opinion. But either way, it is there.
They need to
He's getting.
they need to put
Yeah,
stipulations on it. You can only be tagged once before you get a contract. Like tag him once, you can't keep tagging him. This is the same thing
it's,
that happened to Saquon Barkley back in New York, and they finally just cut him.
it's totally unfair to the players,
let
in
him
my
go.
opinion. But it is what it is. T. Higgins. Is he going to be a Bengal this season? That's what I want to know because I have heavily interest in T. Higgins because I think he can be a solid number one somewhere else. Not an elite number one, a solid number one. I think he can go somewhere else and make a bunch of money, make a bunch of plays. But is he staying in Cincinnati? And is this the best spot? Do you think T. Higgins' best spot is where he's at now?
Yes, because he doesn't have to be the number one here to be elite. And this is not the Bengals fan coming out in me right now. This is like, I think this is a very, very good spot to be paired up with somebody like Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is going to take so much of the targets or the coverage away from T. So when T is healthy, that's the thing. When he is healthy, he can come in and just be elite and really, really good like he was at the end of the season. 3 touchdowns from T. Higgins to like end the season was insane. Um, I I have hope that T would be good anywhere else, like that he should be, right? But what happens when you don't have a Justin Jefferson on the other side, or not a Jamar Chase on the other side?
I'll tell you
That's
what
what I worry
happens.
about.
Yeah, I'll tell you what happens. He was 2020 without Jamar Chase. He had 108 targets, 67 catches, 908 yards, and 6 touchdowns. He was decent. Nothing special, nothing
It's
over
like
the
Michael
moon.
Pittman level.
That's what I'm saying. I said he was decent. Nothing
Yeah.
special, nothing over the moon. His only really like efficient, solid, steady year was 2021, where he averaged 15.7 points a game. He was a wide receiver 12 in points per game. Other than that, he's been outside the top 26 every single year, minus last year. Last year, he averaged 18.5 a game, but he only played in 12 games. Like, so he was really good. And plus, that's not pretend like that week 17 40-point game didn't boost up his average. Because if you take that week away, he's not averaging 18.5 a game. There's no way. His problem is staying on the field, and that's it. That's
It's
his
the same
entire
problem
problem.
that we've seen. I mean, truthfully, it is. But when he came back healthy, all but that Dallas game, he was scoring touchdowns. He was the most like consistent wide receiver in the league right there. And that won you championships. That's what I want to see is the end of the season, T. Higgins just being absolutely elite. But yeah, there is the Bengals are getting interest for him in a trade. Obviously, he will be a Bengal, assuming he signs the franchise tag again. But the Bengals do have plans to extend both Higgins and Chase. I know this is not offensive fantasy relevant, but Sam Hubbard retiring on the defensive front, and then also Trey Hendrickson seeking a trade as well. That could potentially give them more cap space, obviously, to maybe sign both of them. But I've said it all season last year. I've said it since they tagged Higgins. The Bengals gambled on Chase and Higgins not having a fantastic year, and both of them did.
Yes, they did. So, this next piece of news we're going to go through real quick, just for time restraints. Deshaun Watson restructures his deal to take the vet minimum in 2025. He will get $46 million in 2026, but it creates $36 million in cap space for the Browns this year. This is essential. This is great. Good for them. Dak and CD Lamb restructured their deals, creating $56.6 million in cap space because they need to get Micah Parsons a contract. He's about to leave. And Saquon Barkley gets a massive contract, being the first $20 million a year running back. Wow, wow, wow. That is a lot of money
Somebody
there.
that gambled on himself said, I'm going to go test the market, won a Super Bowl, and now gets the largest running back contract ever, which is, I feel like we had this conversation 2 years ago around this same time. We are like, are running backs worth signing this money? And here he is. I'm
Here
pretty
he
sure we were
is.
talking about Saquon and like Jonathan Taylor, and here he is.
Yes. All right, let's continue. Stafford contract with the Rams year to year. Tutu Atwell signs with the Rams 1 year deal. He was decent. Right?
Yeah.
Whatever.
The reason why I noted that was 10 million. Like that's an investment in a wide receiver, I feel like. Even just
Nelson
for a year.
Aguilar got a lot more. But I get your point. I really do. 1 year, 10 million. The cap went up like $1 billion. So I don't know how much money these guys are going to get these days. Stafford, you already said that. Tommy DeVito signs a 1 year deal with the Giants to compete for the depth role. Sure, Tommy DeVito, you're the number one guy there now. No one else
He's
is
the
there
only rostered quarterback in New York City right now.
for now. Till I don't want to say anything because I don't want Sean to block me, but until troublemaker Sanders gets there. Just I kid. I'm playing my cards too early. We haven't even talked about rookies yet. I don't want you guys to know where I stand on Shadur Sanders. Bust. Let's get on to some rumor. Sean hates me so much, but it's okay. I love you, Sean. I do. I love you. When he said that yesterday in the text, I blocked people for that. I'm like, I can't be vocal about my true feelings of Shadur Sanders. But then I said, you know what? I'm a man. I'm almost 40. I can say whatever I want. Rumors and news. Sam Darnold still not getting interest from the Vikings, did not franchise tag him. This is something I've been saying since the beginning of last season.
So will he be a Viking? Will he be a Jet? Will he be a Giant? Will he be a Raider? Will he be insert team here? Like the question is Sam Darnold actually legitimately that good? Or is Sam Darnold somebody that was in a really good system?
I think I've answered this 10,000 times last year. He was just in a good system. Quarterbacks just don't get great overnight. They just don't. When you have Justin Jefferson, anything is possible. We saw the real Sam Darnold at the very end of the season when he tanked and destroyed that entire franchise and season for the Minnesota Vikings. Even Dirtbag Dave, who was like, sign him, sign him, sign him. The last couple of games, he said, put this man in the guillotine and literally dropped the blade on him because he was so sick of Sam Darnold. Viking fans don't want to see that again. They do not want to see Sam Darnold back. But where does he go? Is he going to, he earned a starting job. Like he earned it, but is he going to get it?
Whether that's a starting job that will remain a starting job or not. Yeah, he definitely did earn a starting role in the NFL, but it's just where now, and that's where the cards will fall. Next week when free agency starts?
I can easily see him being a Tennessee Titan. I can easily see that. I'm not saying it will happen. I could easily see him being a Tennessee Titan. Raiders, I don't think Tom Brady would do that. Even like they do need a quarterback, but I think Tom knows this guy's not good. But we'll see. We will definitely see you down there. What's up, Raphael? Thanks for joining the new stream. Finn's Talk Sports Network. We're live there. We're live on Fantasy Now Plus. Make sure you check out our website, fantasynowplus.com. It's all spelled out, fantasynowplus.com. Join our Discord. Get in the conversation. If you want instant access to me or Justin or any of our new teammates, meet our new teammates. We're going to have some of these guys on our show so you can be introduced to them. Go ahead and do it. Drop by L. I know you want to. Everyone does watching worldwide right now. Tank Dell.
March 12th. Wednesday, March 12th starts the free agency.
That's free agency. Yep. Tank Dell will miss all of 2025 because of an ACL surgery. I don't know if you still have the soundbite.
Which one?
But I'm really ready to bury this man's career.
And now, a moment of silence.
I think missing a full season hurts him tremendously. We saw him last year, even with the shuffle of Stephon Diggs and Nico Collins. He wasn't the same player as he was his rookie season. It's going to be hard for an 80-pound man, 180-pound man, come back from the surgery and be competitive with the horses they have in the NFL. This man's tiny compared to these big guys. I hope he can come back. I hope he can make an impact. But I mean, if you miss 2.5 seasons starting out your career, I'm sorry, man. I'm putting a fork in you. I have to. Am I going crazy, Justin?
It does suck. Two really bad injuries will derail a career for sure. Um, I don't want to completely count him out, but yeah, that is tough to come back from. Raphael, we did talk about Christian Kirk briefly, but we talked about on the Jaguars side of things. This does help the Texans, I think. I don't think Christian Kirk is good enough to be that elite. Like, he's not Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell level. But he's serviceable. I mean, he got a contract somehow, but Nico Collins will be their future wide receiver going into 2025, obviously. Alex Smith did okay after injury. He barely walked. He played
hold on.
2 games.
Let me give Raphael some credit here, because Adrian Peterson, they did come back. Yes. 2 different positions. Peterson was a horse before and a horse after. Tank Dell was still a tiny man compared to the Justin Jeffersons and Fitzgeralds and all the other great wide receivers in this game. I know Fitzgerald's been retired. I understand that. But you understand my point. It's going to be very different times. He was tiny. But my point is, it's going to be very difficult for him to come back, Raphael. And I truly believe that all of his dynasty value for fantasy football purposes, to me, dead. I wouldn't trade for him. I would try to get rid of him as soon as possible.
If he was a bigger threat, okay, sure, he would come back. But Tank Dell is specifically like a speed demon. Like, he is get down the field, catch the ball on big plays. And when you have a gruesome injury like you did, that's going to hurt that speed a little bit. Not like a lot, but that's going to hurt just a little bit. I'm not saying he's done, but it's going to be a while. We're rooting for him. Like, I don't think he will be coming back the way he should be.
I am rooting for him. I am a big fan of Tank Dell. It's just I don't want him on my fantasy teams. That's all.
I saw him at the combine, had never heard of Nathaniel Dell at the time, and I was like, who is this Nathaniel Dell guy? He's great. Like, he's fast, he's catching everything, and then he got drafted by the Texans, and I'm like, God.
And the last piece of news we're going to get to today, Russell Wilson is unlikely to go to Las Vegas, linked to the Giants. Steelers want to retain Fields. Prefer to retain. Why? Why?
That's the news, man. Apparently, the Steelers prefer to retain Justin Fields heading into next season. I think it also is it's a bridge situation. Russ didn't get the job done at the end of the season to really get them into the playoff picture better. And maybe they just feel that they saw enough out of Justin Fields when he did play from the beginning of the season. Do we forget that Justin Fields was like 4-0 to start the season, 4-1, something like that. He did really well. Just Russ came in and continued to do really well. So I don't think it's necessarily a quarterback situation there, but I'm not surprised that they want to keep Fields for now and then maybe hopefully find a quarterback in the future. But Russ unlikely to pair up with Pete Carroll. I wanted to say Steve Carell for some reason, but Pete Carroll in Las Vegas, which goes to the question of who are the Raiders picking? Like, are they going to keep Aiden O'Connell?
So the whole Russell Wilson unlikely to go to Las Vegas. I never thought that was I didn't understand it because last I checked, and I'm not the TMZ expert. I don't know anyone's personal lives, but I thought Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll didn't get along. So whenever Pete Carroll got signed there, and people are like, "Oh, it's the connection." It's like, wait, Pete Carroll and him. That's why they disconnected. That's why they divorced. That's why, yeah, exactly. So I didn't understand that. That was to me lazy analysis of a situation. You took 2 guys that previously worked together and go, oh, that's an automatic fit with no substance, no research, no nothing.
Right.
You guys forget this is not a possibility. I never thought this was a possibility. I always thought Russell Wilson was going to go to someone like the Giants or someone like the Rams or someone if Stafford was moved. I think Russell Wilson will be the starting quarterback for your New York Giants next year. I truly believe that's going to happen. And I'm okay with that. And I think that's great for Malik Neighbors. I think it's so great for Tyrone Tracy. I think it's great for anyone involved in New York because I think Russell Wilson is a very, 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 very very above mediocre quarterback.
It'll be great for Cam Ward.
Where's Cam Ward being drafted? Where do you think?
New York, 102. Although I hear they might have to trade up to 101 to get him. So
Yeah, I'm
the
sure.
Browns are not,
I'm sure.
or the Titans are not drafting Cam Ward, but
No.
Hmm.
I'm sure Cam Ward will be a Giant. That'd be fun time. Raphael says, interesting Saints rolling with Derek Carr. I totally thought Spencer Rattler would take over. You know, that's Jimmy G. He also brings up Jimmy G. Oh my goodness. Steelers did sign Skylar Thompson.
I have a dynasty league that would love to have Spencer Rattler take over for the Saints, just to get me points, but that would be fantastic if he would. But yeah, I'm not super surprised that they're gonna stick with Derek Carr. But it's a new head coach, it's new everything there. I imagine this is probably his final season in New Orleans.
Jimmy G, another guy who's left for dead. I don't know where he lands. I don't know who's going to back up. But the biggest news,
he's in the Rams.
The
he
biggest
has a contract
news
with
here,
the Rams.
All right, so he's with the Rams. Skylar Thompson, with the game tape he had, with everything he's shown, he was signed by another team. There's no way. There's no way. I don't believe that. I thought this guy would be working at Publix down the street.
He is a Steeler.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Good for Skylar. Stealing some more money, because he's one of the worst NFL players I've ever seen in my life.
He was signed to a reserve/future contract 2 months ago. So, all right.
All right. Spencer Rattler does not become trade bait, unfortunately, because he is still the backup with no. I mean, it's like the Kyle Trask situation. For years and years and years, everyone's like, Kyle Trask is going to be the guy. Kyle Trask is going to be the guy. Well, Tampa Bay kept on signing Baker Mayfield and Tom Brady and yada, yada, yada. So if you see the Saints not go to Spencer Rattler at any point this season, he's not the guy, and he's just a backup quarterback.
Yep.
For now. But that's going to wrap it up for now with Fantasy Now Plus. Thank you so much for everyone who's watched our first live stream. We're going to be back next Friday at noon. Today was a special 11 o'clock start time because we could not wait to be back and show you my new venue, show you my new awesome AirPods. Like, I am a professional now. I don't know if you know that, Justin. Professional.
I heard.
Are you playing the go home music? You're not professional right now. But we are going to go home. Join our Discord. It's good to be back. It really is
to do that. I didn't used to do that, so
I'm just the host
get
now.
back
It's
to producing.
Awesome. Catch us next Friday again. Finn's Talk Sports Network. More importantly, Fantasy Now Plus on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button over there as well. Join our Discord, FantasyNowPlus.com. We have amazing articles. Great new team members, guys. We're gonna get on out of here. We'll see you next week. Until then, peace out.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you watch or listen to podcasts. We'll be back next week for more ways to win your league.